Thank you, Miss Vandana. You showed us that guidance can be the difference between a good idea and a great one.
Ideas nourish the mind, but even the most inspired minds needs nourishment too. May I please request all the attendees to proceed for lunch? And I invite you to reflect, connect, and recharge until we meet again because the second half of the day brings stories that will challenge limits, shift perspectives, and perhaps, maybe, even make you rethink what is possible. Resume with the same energy. As we continue with voices shaping India's future, we now invite a leader whose work has quietly yet decisively strengthened the foundations of India's digital growth. With over 37 years of experience, he has been a key force behind India's telecom and technology evolution. From a village upbringing to shaping national policy, his journey reflects the strength of staying rooted while building boldly for the future. He played a pivotal role in conceptualizing the production linked incentive scheme and in co leading India's 5G and 6G networks, strengthening indigenous innovation and positioning India as a global technology leader. Today, as the Director General of the Bharat 6G Alliance, he brings together government, industry, academia, and startups to shape next generation technologies that will power a Viksit Bharat, digitally confident, innovation driven, and globally relevant. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Rajesh Kumar Pathak.
Namaskar, and thank you, Amity, for inviting me. So, let me start my journey, and that's from a farming family, a very small village in Uttar Pradesh, Gazipur. And I will share that how a child, when it grows, see different phases of life. So when I have to go to my school, and that was 1.5 kilometers away, and it's only not mine, but no one was taking their children to school. So we just walk on the roads, muddy roads. And the same time, when I just wanted to go to science, then I crossed a river, and that was again 1.5, 2 kilometers away. So when I was in school, I just wanted that okay, I will be headmaster because I just saw him, the very powerful person. Subsequently, no, I will go to army or I will go become a policeman. My father told me, no, you have to become engineer because those were the words I am referring to you, some 1970s story. So I think our internet was books only, and one can say teacher was parents. And that's how I came, I grown, and subsequently I became the engineer. I recall when we were in Varanasi, so even the mighty Gange, we all aware of, when she crosses near Varuna, then she reverses the flow. The normal flow of Ganges is southwest, but people say that touch the feet of Shiva, she just reverses. Why I am referring to? When I became the government servant, I have lot of ideas. And I was posted in Ministry of Industrial Development. I thought that I will do X, Y, Z. But I realized, oh, here I think it's something like bhed chal. I can see the backs of others only. I can't think more than that, and I was even taught the same way. You have to do like this. From internal, I was never comfortable. I was always thinking that can I make certain changes? But as I am sure that you all my students, and when we'll grow, then you realize we always say boss is always right. And that was the one notion I have to say, no, it's not. So I think that's why I will say that when you feel that the road you are following is not right, you have to move behind. And immediately you have to go 180. And that's why I will say that in a horde of people, it may be the intellectual intelligent, but sometimes you have to take a decision that you have to walk in a opposite direction if that is the right direction. So it was very difficult for me to work in the government system because that's a very heavily rule driven. And that's why my story begins that I turned and I realized that whatever I was following is not my actual path. Let me start the story somewhere like 2006. India was using 2G, second generation. I think you are all aware of the mobile phone. I was also very pleased like others. But somewhere I was feeling that what is great in 2G? This entire technology is an imported technology. It's not even contributed by any Indians, our scientists, so-called academia. We are writing the codes for entire world. But even the 2G is all imported, even the towers, we are just working like a service provider, like there are so many companies doing the job for someone else. So what is the problem? I got the chance at that time, and being a middle level officer, for Export Promotion Council. So I was instrumental in making Telecom Export Promotion Council. Subsequently, I realized that there was no manufacturing. So if there is no manufacturing, then what will be exported? At that time, I became close to industry and started thinking like an industry, and it's very difficult for a government officer to work with industry. And as an entrepreneur, because my two projects in my BTech and MTech times were hardware, and that story goes to 85, 86 in BHU days. And I was more comfortable in working with them, started co-working with the industry for sorting out their problems. And the first success after Export Promotion Council, I got preference to make in India. That was for just electronics and telecommunications. And that was in 2012 story. So in 2012, government notified a rule for buying domestically designed developed equipment in the government procurement. And at the same time, I was working with the industry for imposing the custom duty because there was no protection for domestic industry at that time. There was an agreement called Information Technology Agreement. With that, all the telecom products, IT products were at the zero duty. So though we were blooming in the IT, but hardware, that was not the case. If that's the thought process, then how can we change it? So ultimately, we identified certain telecom products on which we can impose the duty. And one more thing, that the standards, even people may not knowing that standards which we are using is not designed by us. We are just the consumer of technology imported by someone else. For someone, not for our country. I think we have never contributed. What is my requirement? So if that is not my requirement, or my requirement of Northeast, my requirement of hilly areas, or even in the dense Delhi 6 is not factored in, then I think we are just something using the technology developed by someone else, and we are merely consumer. how can 1.4 billion people be the consumer of technology? That's a very big question. And that's why, again, with the industry, I am thankful to the uh, ecosystem partners that we came up with the Telecom Standard Development Society India TSDSI, who became the seventh partner in third generation partnership project. Though that, no, these terms are slightly technical, but what is more important that we started taking the innovations from MIT students to 3GPP where standards, 5G wireless standards are defined. So at least our innovations will be factored in. In the innovations are standards for the world. So that was somewhere 2014. At the same time, government imposed 10% duty on wireless products. So it means we have the Export Promotion Council, we have 10% protection for domestically designed developed products and government market access. These were the, why it's not moving? Oh, sorry. These were the time please can you just unwind it? Yeah. So let me again go back to my story. This all became possible. Otherwise, I was also like any government officer, I can enjoy the power, be a regulator. My mother, she used to tell us stories when on the mud chulha, and then she was buying kalyan from Gorakhpur. Then she will tell all the great stories of Vivekanand, Rama, Mahabharat, Krishna. So, we were just sitting like this. She will be cooking like this, and we'll be just sitting around her and going through those stories. That was the very first, perhaps, my professor that changed the thought process in me as well as my brother and sisters. And that has been even today also my granddaughters each day I tell her a story, otherwise she will beat me. So our first guru starts from the home itself, our mother, our parents. Let me take you subsequently, I covered that telecom standards. Why it's not moving? Sorry, something happening. Can you just take it back to standards? Standards, please. Yeah. So India has telecom standards. Then my mind came, can you do something? Then we started one making high level forum for 5G India 2020 in 2017 story. And 18, I was like very empathetic that now we have made 5G. Subsequently, I discovered that no, I'm very late. We are all, the government is late. 5G is already there. 5G was discovered. So again, we'll be user of technology. And again, we'll be importing like whatever you did in 2G, 3G, 4G. So what is the way out? But we came up with a report with all the IITs and some international, our Stanford professors. We came up with the Making India 5G Ready. But that sets the tone of India for innovations, technology, R&D. Government liberalized spectrum. They started doing trials before even launch of 5G. They changed right of way rules. And more important, like we all are thinking that spectrum prices were came down, subsequently spectrum was made available. In 2020, the world started discussing 6G, and that's what I am standing here. Technology is discussed at least 10 years advance. We should not wait for the technology to be discussed and then take the decisions whether I go or not. If you start early, though that will be costly, but then only we can create the values, our startups, our MSMEs, our industry. And this is the time when again from the 2020 itself, though we again missed major innovations in 5G, we contributed a lot, and for that International Telecom Union, they told it it's called 5G-I, and it's now part of the standard. So whoever will be utilizing 5G, India's innovations will be there. But in 6G, we started from 2020 itself. And again, I was member secretary of that high-level forum. And we came up with a report called 6G, Bharat 6G Vision Statement, released by Honorable Prime Minister. What is more important now, it's not a vision, it's entire government and industry is working together. So that is more important, that researchers, they require the liberal funding. Otherwise, there has been a culture of giving funding to academia, because we as a government servant felt very safe in giving the funding to academia. But academia can't move beyond TRL3. TRL3 is when you do from the lab and you just have the proof of concept. Subsequently, luckily, I got a chance to create a policy where we gave a liberal funding up to 5 to 10 crores as well, without any equity, to our startups, some 126 projects, and which have now cultivated in a 5G equipments, so many use cases by our startups. And to my surprise, people say that success rate for startup is single digit, and there is a death of valleys, but we made it death of valley as a death of flowers, valley of flowers. So all 97% has been the success of our startups funded. By that, I was referring to 50,000 to 5 crores. In this process, what is more important, that this Viksit Bharat, right now we are in Amrit Kal 25 years from 47. And when my even, naturally it will be the youth. So if the youth are not connected, then this Viksit Bharat will again be a slogan, a fail, I will say. And it's not just youth, entire government machineries, other departments, not only the technology part, infrastructure has to ramp up, health, education has to ramp up. Skill development is very much important, because the first lessons we came up from the skill itself and from all the fields. So though I belongs to the telecommunications or wireless, so we are working on not only telecommunications 6G, and 6G you will feel what is great in 6G. 6G is in 5G, you add sensing and artificial intelligence. So it means we are working closely on artificial intelligence also, which is required for the wireless communication, as well as on quantum and all the security parameters. So there are 7 working groups in the organization I belong, Bharat 6G Alliance, and they work together with industry and the government and handhold them. And more important has been the role of startups, not for India, but for the world. Because even in the 5G, the applications has not been developed for 5G, 5th generation of wireless technology. So can our startup develop those use cases and do their business in India as well as go for the world? So this technology 6G is all for societal, solving the problems of society. We have moved beyond the connectivity, which was the case in case of 2G or 3G, because even 4G we are very much satisfied with the internet. People say that why I don't need 5G. But 5G is also not about the internet, it is all about industrial use cases. So it is all about that how can I utilize the low latency, means the time taken in doing any work in a hospital like robotics. So it's already slowly coming. So it can be the robotic surgery, educations, it can be the digital twin. I can imagine a city like physical in my digital and do experiments with my digital and just predict that what will be the traffic flow in Varanasi in XYZ times and how I can manage in my digital model. So digital twin is always made with the physical. So though even my topic is more technical, but let me go back to my roots, that I came from a village, having all the ideas. So the youth, you should have the value, and all it has to be. You look for the. I never followed the rules as well. So I followed the rules with a purpose. So you have to be the agent of change, and this will be the my one of message to all of you. And you success and startup will be, I think, the young India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing such insightful perspectives that remind us that when vision is